Hello, and welcome to Navigating to Success. I'm Focal Point Business Coach Jeff Carlton, and with me today is Robert Strobel, Bob. He's the founder of Thrive in Digital um, out of northwestern Wyoming, kind of all over, but Star Valley area. He's also the founder and CEO of C. Jackson Hole, which is, he says, the fun one. But welcome, Bob.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's start with C. Jackson Hole.
Okay.
Tell me about C. Jackson Hole and what you do there.
Yeah, and quick point of order. Yeah, the businesses are located in Jackson at an office off of Broadway, just so we're clear on
You
that.
actually do have a storefront there.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
So, yeah, well, C. Jackson Hole is a um, uh, live, real-time streaming platform for points of interest in and around the Jackson Hole region. We stream live 24/7 passive webcam streams to the world. And it's got a huge following. And that's been a lot of fun. It's a labor of love. Sometimes keeping the cameras going is like herding cats a little bit. And
It's not the most friendly environment for technology sometimes.
no, especially during the wintertime when you're trying to get a camera back up and running, sometimes you're post holing in snow or on the top of roofs, where it's windy.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a lot of fun. It's been something that, I've been uh, doing the live webcams in Jackson since 2001 was the first one that we placed. So it's been a minute for that. And yeah, so we're going 24 years. Um, on my old company, which was Jackson Hole Net, that rolled into vertical media and is now called All Trips. And we we built out a one of Jackson's first web portals, jacksonholenet.com, and that's kind of how I got my start in the region was that business.
So with C. Jackson Hole, who are your customers? How does it work?
Local businesses that want to promote their business to potential visitors and um, locals that want to look at uh, current conditions,
Right.
snowplow drivers, transit drivers, um, rafting companies that want to see weather in various different places. So
Yeah.
we have quite a cross section of people that look at the live
And
webcam.
so, okay, very cool. Um, Is there, apart from the camera, is there any kind of weather data associated with it or something that tells people what the actual environment is other than cold and snowy?
Yeah, we try to have temperature and some weather data included with the cameras.
Very cool. And how interconnected is this then with Thrive and Media?
Um, it's connected in the sense that uh, we've been doing web development and digital marketing for well over 30 years for hospitality type businesses, so lodging, dining activities, and um, so that lots of times companies need a live webcam feed if they have a compelling view, but also the company needs web development and digital marketing services. So it's a clear tie-in since we have that knowledge base on both ends.
Yeah. So how many employees do you have with C. Jackson Hole?
Well, we're all 1099s, but we've got close to 12 day to day.
Wow. And is that are
And
they
it goes,
primarily
yeah, and it goes
are they
back and forth between Thrive and Digital and C. Jackson Hole.
okay? And you're kind of the conductor of the orchestra of what needs to get done when, or
Yeah, and we have project managers and account managers and stuff like that that take care of the stuff on the ground. I, I've been mainly managing the webcams and the hardware and the software for the cameras. But yeah, I do manage um, the managers and stuff like that.
any challenges with with that structure? Because it sounds like um, well, are there any challenges with that structure? Because it's pretty fluid. It sounds like you guys are pretty agile.
Um, yeah, there's communication breakdowns. There's some lost in translation issues.
Or
Um,
do you work remote? Do people work remote or are they
yeah,
in the storefront?
yeah. Most all of us work remote. I mean, yeah, we have the storefront, and Drew manages that portion, and then, um, but yeah, we're distributed for sure.
Okay. And is the purpose of the storefront to is it for client accessibility? And
Yeah, we have a nice office where we can meet with local customers and sit down and look at the big screen and have meetings and nice meeting space with,
I
you know,
think and it's one of the reasons that I really kind of focus my practice out here out west is I think we still put a little bit more value on that in-person um, meeting,
sure.
the personal touch to get to know people and actually find out what it is they want to have built out. And so I appreciate that. That's cool. Um, what do you think? You've been an entrepreneur for sounds like 30 years, right?
Yeah.
Um, what do you think were some of the big misconceptions you had when you're like going, "Hey, I've got this idea and I think I'm going to work less and make a lot of money."
Um, just how quickly things change. It changed lightning fast. And, what was hot for you, you know, uh, a week ago is now your baggage.
Ah,
And um, so, uh, so really kind of filtering down to, yeah, things change really fast, but really what you need to do is build a brand and focus on your brand because the medium changes, but your brand is always your brand.
sure. And I think that's a really great point that's sometimes overlooked is that people are like, "Oh, well, I make the best whatever widget in the world or the best pancake," and then all of a sudden they go out of style. So the flexibility to change your offering to meet market demand or um, trends. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the post-COVID time frame. So the last 5 years, really. What do you think were the big changes in the the digital space coming out of COVID?
Just how quickly AI is now coming into play is it's like is the glaring elephant in the
Yeah,
room. I
yeah, I
kind
was
of,
going to get to that. Cool. Let's
yeah, I
run with
mean,
the AI.
yeah, I mean, I resisted it for the longest time, but um, uh, it's it's just been in our face. Also, I'll tell you one of the biggest. If we back up here just a little bit, I'll tell you one of the biggest things is, as we're coming out of COVID and even during COVID, with a place like Jackson, and when the world shut down, particularly in the travel and tourism space, um, people people stopped traveling abroad, and they were saying, "Well, where are we going to go? Where are we going to go around here?" And Jackson, and particularly, I think the Western Wyoming, Western Montana, and many of the kind of the adventure destination hotspots around the West were hit hard with with
They definitely were.
yeah, and um, we were having trouble landing contracts or landing advertising contracts, and also web development, digital marketing contracts, due to the fact that they didn't need to advertise because they were like, and not only do we not need to advertise, we can't find help, so it doesn't do us any good even if we did. So
Right.
there's that. But then now that as things have opened back up, one thing that I've kind of found that um, a lot of businesses didn't ramp up their momentum, they didn't need momentum when all that was going on, but they didn't ramp up their momentum fast enough
Coming
and
out of it.
coming out of it. And I think that was kind of a little bit of a wake up call. And, things had to normalize there a little bit.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. There was a huge hesitation. It was like everybody was afraid of their own shadow. And they were literally standing in their own way to get back up in operations and instead of just going at it and preparing. We knew we were going to come out of it, right? I mean, we knew that that pandemic was going to end, and a lot of people didn't imagine what it was going to look like when we did. And so I think you're spot on. I think you hit the nail on the head there. That people didn't ramp up fast enough because they weren't prepared. Um, I don't know. Um, so you talked a lot about AI coming on and
Yeah.
avoiding it. How are you using it specifically? Because I was a little bit of an avoider, and I still don't use it as much as I should. I use it as a tool to help me do things faster, but I'm a huge anti-plagiarism kind of proponent. That part bothers me a little bit ethically. Um, but it's great for checking grammar and punctuation and for developing outlines for course material. But how do you use it?
Well, right now we've just been in the kind of watch and look phase and watch and learn phase, so to speak. Um, and we've also been attending AI conferences to learn more about how AI can be used in the hospitality space, how hotels and activity providers and stuff like that can use it for like their chat bots and be more make them more efficient as it regards to their business and service customers. Um, and then yeah, content, content creation, content augmentation. We've been doing a little bit of that. Well, let's say you wanted to build out a proposal for somebody, an all-inclusive web development, digital marketing proposal that cross all the T's and dot all the I's, and it spits out this nice structure of all the things that you would want to um, look at, and then obviously you modify it to make it your own and be able to you know submit a nice proposal to somebody. So we've used it in that regard. Um,
Yeah,
Uh,
it's almost like bringing 10 extra people into the room to brainstorm ideas.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah,
but I think what you said there was really key, important, is make it your own. Um, once you have the idea, is that you have to personalize it to your brand, which I
correct.
think was another important thing that you brought up. Is
Yeah,
and more
and
importantly, client.
yeah, and you can actually use AI to like make it in your tone and your voice. So you can say, you can type in your web address and say, you know, make this based off of what thrivindigital.com, how and the tone and the voice that they would say it in, and it even spits out an even more like your version as well. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. That's a good way to inject that personality trait in there. I hadn't thought about using my web address or somebody else's to do that. So very there, that was worth the price of admission right there, folks.
Yeah, and then you can also like if you wanted for fun, you could say it in the way that Yoda would say it,
I've
and it
done
would
that.
spit out yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the John Wayne and the Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry character, and
Yeah.
you get some pretty you get some pretty amusing results sometimes. It's quite good. Um, so as we're getting close to the end here, tell me what we talked a lot about. It sounds like you've done a lot of pivoting and a lot of adaptation for your businesses with technology and demand and well, no, the basin up there in Jackson Hole area has changed significantly in the last 20 to 30 years. Where do you think you're going to be at in, say, 2 to 3 years?
Well, I think C. Jackson Hole's still going to be doing the live webcam feeds, and I think we'll be um, experimenting with some new video types, formats. I think AI will be included to help watch our streams and pick out important clips and processing those and uploading those um, to our platforms. And then, yeah, I think Thriving Digital will be still highly focused on higher end hotels and resorts that are independent of the major brands and helping them building their brand, independent brand, so they're less reliant on the major OTAs like Expedia, hotels, Booking.com, and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
All right, last question. What is one piece of advice that you wish somebody had told to you when you started your entrepreneurial journey? Something that you would tell a aspiring business owner or somebody in their first year.
Um, Play the long game and play chess, not checkers.
Oh, awesome. That's fabulous. Yeah, be strategic. Think 3 moves ahead. If I if I do this, I'm setting up this to happen so that that can happen. Always 3 moves ahead. I like that. That's a great one. I'm gonna steal that, rip it off, and repeat it.
Please,
Um,
please do. I didn't make it up, or if I
yeah.
did, I don't care.
Well, you articulated it well just there. So, Bob, thank you very much for joining me for 20 minutes here, and I appreciate it. Any parting shots?
Oh, I don't know. Um, Gosh. Well, I mean, it was great having you here, and I also wanted to thank you for your grace on me missing our first appointment, and also, um, I've yeah, I am kind of missing my voice. This isn't normally how I sound like, but maybe next time.
Right on. And maybe we will do a follow-up. I'm starting to bring some people back. So for everybody watching, I hope you got some nuggets. There were some great ones in this episode, and we'll see you next time on Navigating Success. Bob, thank you again.
Thank you.